Hello everybody, Levi Clay here, and I'm back again to do another question and answer time. This time the question is coming from one of my patrons over in my Facebook Patreon group, which you can join by supporting me on Patreon for as little as $1. Matt has asked the question. Well, Matt said, just been watching your interview with Robin Ford, Levi. Great interview, by the way. Thank you. It got me thinking that you've had the chance to interview some of the greats, and I was curious about what you took away from those interviews. Did you get a better understanding or appreciation of them as an artist? Was it intimidating when you got the chance to jam with them? Did it change anything about you as a player? And it might be a good topic for a video. Be fascinated to get my answers. And by the way, who's on your list of people you'd still love to interview? And that's a great question. That's a really good question. So I never got intimidated jamming with anyone because we're all humans, and I figure we all put our trousers on one leg at a time. I'm not going to say they're just as nervous as I am, but it's music, and music should be fun. So the opportunity to play with somebody is always fun. Music has always been fun for me, and I don't, although it's work, I don't consider it pressure. It's the reason I do this for a living is because I love it, because it's fun. So even if I have a terrible jam with someone, that doesn't upset me. So the thought of having a terrible jam and it being on video, if that doesn't bother me, the problem kind of goes away. So what I learned though is that interviews fall into two categories. You interview people who see you as some interviewer, and they're just there to do their job, marketing type stuff. And there are guys who love that they get to talk to you and they see you as a peer. Some guys forget the famous bullshit and even take an interest in you. Those are the good interviews. And I've interviewed some people that aren't that. I've interviewed people that didn't want to be there, and they make it pretty clear that you're an inconvenience to their day. And some people have reputations for that. So there are certain interviews that I've had in the past where I've seen who I've got to talk to, and I've asked around, and it's been a case of, this could either be really good or really bad. And there have been some really bad ones in the past, some that never even made it into magazines because they don't come out having the right vibe to them. But that's what I take away. Who the good people are, who you get to interview. I try to ask people, what are you listening to these days? And the good guys always answer with excitement. They've got a list of artists, up-and-coming artists that they're listening to and they want to plug. And then there's the not-so-good interviews where they kind of make out like they're above listening to music these days. And there are some guys that I remember interviewing where, they've had guest solos on their albums, and I've mentioned the artists that they've had on the album, and they don't even want to say, oh yeah, I love him, I really wanted to take the opportunity to play with him. They kind of come at it more from an angle of, the label wanted someone and they picked that guy. So, and to me that's kind of just cheap. So yeah, that's the real thing you learn. You learn a person's real character. I have sat down with some guys that did absolutely change my life though. Maybe not immediately. Sometimes they plant seeds in you that sprout years later and turn you into the player you are, or you become. Carl Verheyen and Wayne Krantz were good examples of that. And actually those weren't even interviews, those were just kind of getting thrown into a one-on-one situation, just having conversations with them. And they treated me, like a peer. And they had no reason to do that. And the way they dealt with things and the information that they gave me kind of really helped me. Mike Stern has also probably been the most fun person that I've ever worked with. He's fun. He just wants to hang out and play. Zach Wilde was awesome. Martin Taylor was incredible. Bumblefoot, he was another highlight. I think it's kind of an insult to the people I'm not mentioning because I've had so many great interviews over the years. But I don't think I'll be doing many more interviews, despite the fact that the editor at Guitar Interactive loves my work and the readers love my work. Politics gets in the way, and Levi's a little bit outspoken now and not somebody that people really want associating to associate with. Thankfully, I've got Patreon where these wonderful people support me anyway and allow me to actually say stuff like this without being fired. So that's cool. So I'd love to, I enjoy it. I like to think I'm good at it, and I'm always getting good feedback from the artists, not directly to me, do an interview and then the artist or their management tend to talk to the editor and just let them know how it went. And generally speaking, I get really, really good feedback from people. And that's because I only interview people that I care about, I'm passionate about talking to. I've turned down interviews because I've looked at who it's been and I've said, look, in all honesty, integrity doesn't allow me to interview this person because I won't be able to be positive. I've said negative things about this person. I can't pretend that I haven't said negative things about this person. So yeah, that's happened sometimes. But there is loads of guys that I kill to interview, and I've got a little list here, so I'll just read them off. Michael Romeo from Symphony X, Brent Mason, Brad Paisley, Derek Trucks, Scott Henderson, Van Halen, Steve Morse would be quite fun. Malmsteen would be very cool, if not a little bit intimidating. Jimmy Herring, John Five. I kind of like to do someone like James Valentine or Darren Malakin from System of a Down. Those are just names that sprang into my mind that I think would all be kind of fun to do. But as I say, probs won't happen. But who knows? Maybe this channel gets so big that I end up going out and interviewing people for this. But again, probs not. So yeah. Thank you very much for the question though, Matt, and hopefully that's been of interest to other people watching this video. If it was, as I say, you can check me out on Patreon and support me over there for as little as $1. Gets you access to my private patron-only Facebook group, or for $10 you can join this list of awesome people who support me, as I say, at $10 or more, and they help to allow me to keep doing this when other outlets don't want to touch me with a 10-foot barge pole, which, I don't begrudge, I understand. So you can click that button up there to check me out on Patreon. You can also subscribe to this channel by clicking this wee button down here. And I've got 2 more videos here and here, and you can check those out. Hit that like button, hit that comment button, get involved in the comments. Let me know if there's anybody that you'd love to interview. Let me know if there's any interviews of mine you've seen and have enjoyed. Let me know if there's interviews you haven't enjoyed. Peace out, guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.